you ever wondered if you're doing your squats correctly? A lot of people either avoid squats completely because it hurts their knees, or they don't want to hurt themselves and they think that if they do it incorrectly, they're going to wear out their knees and not be able to do the things they want to do. So here are 3 tips to help clean up your squats, check your form, and make sure that you're able to do this fundamental exercise well. So the first tip is regarding your stance. Don't worry too much about being in exactly the right stance position, right? Some people are going to be more comfortable with a little bit more narrow stance. Some people are going to be a little more comfortable with a wider stance and their toes pointed out. One is not right and one is not wrong. It's all individual. We're all built a little bit differently and it might feel better one way to you than another. Another thing to think about though is, what are you training for? If you have a particular sport in mind, or if you have a particular activity that you're trying to get stronger in, then think about your foot position and your leg position in those activities. But my best recommendation is mix it up. Do some squats with your feet in a little bit more narrow stance and some with them a little bit wider. And that's okay. Tip 2, what about your back position? Everybody always says not to round your back. And that's right, we don't want to round your spine when you're doing a squat. You want to stay neutral. But what exactly does that mean? You can take something like this and put this across your back. You want 3 points of contact. Down here over the sacrum, over the middle part of your back, and at your head. And as you lower into a squat, try to maintain those 3 points of contact. Now, some people are going to want to squat and stay totally upright because they might be afraid of bending their back. You don't need to be afraid of it. You just need to stay neutral and engage your core so you're protecting yourself. So rather than staying totally upright, allow yourself to come into this slightly forward position. If you round and lose points of contact, now you're out of neutral. So correct that and get back to neutral. Tip 3, when you're at the bottom of your squat, the ideal place to be is have the angle of your shins be similar to the angle of your trunk. Now, you'll see again, some people are more like this. They're more hinging from their hips, less bend at their knees. They might be afraid of bending the knees forward over the toes. It's okay to let your knees come over your toes because that's how we move in real life. But let's not go so far to the extreme to constantly force your knees over your toes when it's not natural. Now, if you're having difficulty getting down into that position, you might have stiffness at the ankles. And that's the #1 reason why people compensate and can't get into a good squat form. So here's the tip you can try. Take a board or some sort of lift to elevate your heels. And if you can lower into a squat and stay a little bit more upright at your trunk here, and maybe get these angles to match a little bit more closely, then that's a good indicator that your ankles might be limiting your squat. So what you'll want to do is stretch your calves, work on your ankle dorsiflexion range of motion. There's a couple of techniques to do that, but that's going to help you clean up your squat.